Good morning, my name's Bernard. I'm a volunteer here at Green Roots. The idea of Green Roots as a project is to provide a range of horticultural skills and experience for students with learning difficulties. And by developing those skills, specific horticultural skills, but also skills of communication, team building, interpersonal skills and so on, to provide the opportunities for our students to move on to supported employment opportunities. Today we're going to look in a wee bit more detail at the Grow and Learn Award, at how the award, the course, works in practice here at Green Roots. The course is an accredited piece of work. It's accredited by the Royal Caledonian Horticultural Society, and the course itself is divided up into several sections. First of all, there are 7 core units, and all students must attempt and complete these core units. The units themselves are all of a practical nature. They've all got a horticultural background. For example, seed sowing, plant care, harvesting. Now, as well as the core units, there are also 13 optional units, and the purpose of these optional units is to allow students to look in more detail at topics that either interest them particularly or they have an aptitude for. Over the first year of the Grow and Learn Award, these 2 areas of work would contribute something like 80 hours, or a minimum of 80 hours, of practical gardening activity. The other part of the first year of the Grow and Learn Award is that students also negotiate, decide on 3 personal targets, 3 personal goals that they want to undertake. Now, these targets could well be related to horticultural activities, horticultural skills, or they might well be perhaps an area of personal development that a student is interested in. I gather, Kevin, you're in the first year of the Grow and Learn course here at Green Roots.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Enjoying it so far?
Yes, very much so.
Good. What did you visit you were taking out this morning?
Mainly dockings there, and also like dandelions. The worst ones over there are the ones with the tap roots.
Well, you were getting rid of them with the fork there. Is that the only way that we control weeds?
No,
here?
we can control weeds by other methods. Here we don't like to use unnatural pesticides or chemicals. Right. We use vinegar to get rid of weeds. Mm-hmm. Okay. Other methods of getting rid of weeds is covering them with tarpaulin or old blankets or carpets. That will tend to choke out the weeds because they can't get any natural sunlight.
One of your personal goals is to improve your knowledge and your skills in terms of working with livestock?
Yes, that's correct. I've always liked animals, and I get a real great sense of achievement when I do work with animals, and I feel like when I'm with animals I'm the most comfortless in myself. So,
do you see that in the longer term? Maybe it's something that you want to keep doing?
Yes, very much so. In the future I want to become maybe someone who would help out on the farm.
It was raining and the wind was blowing like whistling. It's loud.
So my job title is Communications Literacy and Numeracy Tutor, and this involves supporting students both with their coursework for Grow and Learn courses and also as they go into employability, and also for the students that maybe aren't focusing so much on coursework, who may want to develop their expressive skills or their communication skills in general. So it can be from people who are very articulate and looking to move on to employment, or it might be with people who are not so verbal. So it kind of grows across the range, whatever's required, really. And we work with the garden and with the work that's going on in the garden, so we're trying to tie the work in. It can be different things as well, Georgia, can't it? So sometimes we'll do things like phone calls as well, won't we? We'll practice phone calls.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Learning to use a mobile phone.
Yeah.
So in second year, students would start off by revisiting the 7 core areas, 7 core units that they looked at in first year, and they would try and expand the depth and breadth of their knowledge in those 7 key horticultural areas. In first year, if you remember, students also had optional units that they chose from. Now they might well have found that they enjoyed particular option units in first year, so in second year students have the chance to take on 6 projects, and these projects are very much students' choices in terms of the work or the activity that they undertake. In second year, all students need to maintain and complete by the end of the year a portfolio in which they will record, using appropriate methods, the different learning experiences that they've completed in the course of the year. So if we take those 3 key areas then, the revisiting of the core skills, the setting of new personal targets and goals, and also the 6 projects that students will be involved in. As in first year, these should cover about 80 hours minimum of horticultural, practical gardening activity. What we're really seeing here is as part of second year coursework, working away on improving the soil in one of the vegetable beds in the garden here. If I can interrupt you for a second, guys, is this a good soil or a bad soil that we're working with just now?
Oh, bad.
Bad?
Yeah.
What's wrong with it, do you think? Would you say?
Not getting enough air to soil.
So what are you going to do then, or what are you doing? How does this improve air getting into the soil? When you break up the lumps like that, what's it letting happen to the soil?
Softening it.
Soften it, and what else can get in? What were you saying?
Air.
Yeah, exactly, spot on. An important part of the Grow and Learn course is the design, the planning, the construction of what's called a pallet garden. How do people come by their ideas for the pallet? I mean, how did you come by the ideas that you had?
Well, we all wrote our ideas on a bit of paper,
Mhm.
and we all came together and
Mhm.
discussed what bits we could use for the palette, and what should take out and what should add into it.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to work out where can stuff go, and is that good because I have it, so we can discuss it with each other.
Uh-huh.
And
How many people are going to be in your group or are in your group?
there's me and 2 other students doing it as well.
Mm-hmm. And does that make it easier or is it harder than working on your own?
Probably easier, less, not as much work to do on your own.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard got to bring all the ideas into one palette.
Uh-huh.
Working on your own, you get a lot of responsibility.
Uh-huh.
If you're doing it with others, it's easier to people to help you with it.
Uh-huh.
It's probably a bit of both, probably.
Hi, Craig. Once all these pallet gardens and planters have been finished here at Green Roots, is that the end of the story, or does something else happen?
Well, they get displayed.
Okay. And that's a sort of competition
Yes.
display? Yeah, okay. Must be quite a busy day when you get there, because I suppose it's not. Is it just the groups from Green Roots?
No, there's loads of
Okay.
other people.
Uh-huh. Is it fun?
It can be.
Yeah, it can be. Can be. Quite nervous too, though.
Aye. You're thinking, are you going to be next, or is it,
Right.
are you going to be picked? Or
Sure. So it's all part of sort of managing the big occasion as well.
mind over matter.
Mind over matter. Good way of putting it.
I see myself mostly as the link person between the student and the employer. My role's very much about getting to know the students and finding out what it is that they want to do with their lives, why are they here at Green Roots, and working alongside them in terms of getting them ready for the working environment. I think that's very important, so that when we have an opportunity to put students in a work placement, that they are at the best point in their readiness in relation to being successful in that work placement, and making sure things are going okay for both parties involved, and making sure that we're getting it right for the student too, making sure that we're hitting their aspirations in terms of what they want. I have to engage with a wide variety of work placements, and it can range from gardening opportunities, it could be animal husbandry, it can be very practical work placements, for example, shops, Waitrose, greenkeeping, that kind of thing. And then through the course of maybe a work placement, we'll do reviews both with the student and with the employers as well. And then at the very end of that process, we'll do a summative evaluation.
So there's various perspectives are feeding in.
Very much so.
So, if I'm right, you've been working at Gartmore House for over a year now?
Yeah.
So it's been quite a long time. And how often a week do you go up to the house?
I'm just in housekeeping once a week.
Okay.
And in housekeeping and office, twice a week.
So if you to choose between the two, working in the office or doing all these housekeeping things, what would be your favourite?
Them both.
You like them both?
Yeah.
So I know that Amanda's really enjoyed working in Gartmore House. What kind of activities has Amanda been involved
Well,
in?
Amanda comes and it can be different things she does every week. She could be helping us in the bedrooms, doing some dust and doing the towels and things, emptying the bins, doing some ironing, doing some hoovering, just generally
So really quite a range of things.
a range of things just to let her do,
Okay.
and she does them very well.
Have you and Jean been talking about things to do in the future?
Probably dogs or animals.
Because you were saying to me a minute ago that you seem to be fond of animals.
Yeah.
Of course, you've also had a chance to meet animals and different kinds in the garden here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you learned anything at Gartmore House that is going to help you when you start working with animals? Is it a particular type of animal you'd like to work with?
No, any of them.
Any of them?
Yeah.
I can think of something
Can you?
actually, yeah. When animals need fed, they've got set routines, haven't they, Amanda? So things like good timekeeping, feeding the animals at the appropriate time, and I think your timekeeping at the house has been excellent. Amanda's been very good at getting to
can
her house
imagine
on
that,
time.
yeah.
So certainly being ready for your work and being on time and having all the right equipment with you and having the most appropriate uniform and being prepared, all of those things. You've really gained those skills from the house, I would think, Amanda.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy it? What's the best bit?
All of it.
All of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.